Travel back in time to the 80s, reliving the advice,
Carpe diem. Seize the day.
the comebacks,
Why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer.
and the technology.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
Because just like you, we're stuck in the 80s.
Can you say stuck in the 80s?
Hey, welcome to Stuck in the 80s. It's Spearsy.
And Brad in L.A.
And today we honor the hit songs we forgot from 1985.
How many times do we let ourselves get into terrible situations because we don't say, I forgot?
I almost forgot to mention that Stuck in the 80s is now listener-supported via Patreon. Join us for VIP Zoom happy hours and more when you join at patreon.com/stuckintheeighties-podcast. By the way, in case you were wondering, absolutely nobody joined up after last week's show when Spearsy offered to come over and reorganize people's home liquor cabinets. So this week, I, Brad in L.A., offer to come over and pull 10 weeds from your garden if you join as a patron. 10 weeds. I will line them up on the porch so you can count them yourself. You want to come help, Spearsy?
I'm really kind of busy, Rat.
Hey, 80s Nation. It's pretty much been an entire year since we last did a Forgotten Hits of the 80s show. Yep, I'm just checking now. June 14th, 2020, episode 557. But luckily, pop culture and life as we know it has been frozen in ice for the past year, so we'll just pick things up where we left off. We'll cover the Forgotten Hits of 1985 today. And with us, by special request, is our old friend Mark Canali, better known to the masses as Bass Note.
Hey, guys.
You ready to go back to 1985?
Yes, I am. But before we do that, I want to congratulate you guys on 600 episodes.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks.
I've been listening pretty much since the beginning. I actually went back and found that it was episode 6 that I started listening on, which was the Say Anything episode.
We probably did say anything.
I've been through all the different co-hosts, and I got to say the current incarnation with Steve and Brad. Brad, since you've joined the show, I just think the chemistry between you and Steve is fantastic. And I've really enjoyed listening to you guys. And I'm just very thankful that you guys have let me have a small part in the podcast.
You're pandering to us, Mark, and we love it. So good work. Tell us more about how wonderful we are. No, in all honesty, thank you so much. That really does mean a lot. I know.
God, episode 6. Jeez, I mean, you could have given me like 30 guesses. I couldn't have told you what show that was.
Well, that long ago, they didn't say anything. They probably barely said anything because the shows were so short back then. It was 20 minutes.
20 or 30 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to spend 20 minutes on the intro today.
It was like 19 minutes.
It was 19 minutes? Jeez.
19 minutes, yeah. But you had me hooked because you started with the Peter Gabriel song In Your Eyes. So.
Oh. God, I don't even know how we did the show. I mean, I didn't produce it back then. We either had our intern doing it or...
Was the Maestro doing it back then?
Maestro might have just been starting to do it. So, Dave Morrison, the Maestro. Those were the days when he was engineering the shows. Boy, those...
Back when Steve had staff. Now he just has me.
That's why nothing ever gets done anymore.
Oh, snap.
But we will get this show done, even though it's been a year in between episodes. And I know why it's been a year, because Brad and I fight over the term forgotten hit whenever we talk about doing a show in this series.
Fight is an ugly word, but I'll allow it. I mean, here's the thing, gentle listener. When we started doing these for 1980, we would just take the year-end top Hot 100 chart and find some songs on there that we didn't remember. Problem is, by the time you get to 1985, Steve and I remember all those songs. So we had to come up with some alternate methods. And I think it just and this just makes me sound like the laziest person ever, but it makes it harder if you have to dig a little deeper into the charts. So we've kind of put it off in favor of other easy topics that we have to address where people send us giant spreadsheets full of content. You know how it is, right? I mean, everyone's busy. You got the sourdough in the oven. You're learning new crafts in pandemic. You don't have time to research charts.
Here's how I interpret it. You guys like to dig deep into the weekly charts. What I interpret when I say forgotten hits is I'm thinking about these are the songs that they were hits, in 1985, but they rarely get played anymore on whatever source you get your 80s entertainment from, whether you're listening to Classic Rewind or 80s on 8 on Sirius XM, or if you're lucky enough to have an 80s radio station in town. These songs will not be playing anytime soon. But when we play them today, you're going to be like, yeah, of course I remember this song. I'm not an idiot. They still have some interesting stories behind it.
You did download this podcast, so
we'll see what happens. But I want, before the barbarous emails start showing and people start flaming bags of manure on my front porch, just take it with a grain of salt that it's a vague term, and we're going to have some fun. Don't scream at us and say, yes, of course I remember these songs. Just be happy that we're playing them again. These bands would be happy that we're playing them again. That's for sure. Although I think for the most part, most of these songs still make the set lists when they perform live.
If you're sending manure to Steve's house, please just spread it on the lawn. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have much lawn. I have a townhome. I never really talk about where I live, but it's the front lawn per se is about the size of a welcome mat. And I've got a porch in the back that's, I don't know, it's 5 feet by 5 feet of concrete. And then it opens up into a rolling lawn that goes into the duck pond. But
so it's like common space.
Yeah,
you have like a pad.
There's no privacy. Yeah. And then I sit up here in my home office, glaring out the window over the entrance to the community like I'm some sort of Hitchcockian figure, in a wheelchair. But that's my life. That's my existence.
Well, if Grace Kelly's stopping by, then I'd say you're doing all right.
Yeah, no one stops by. Anyone rings the doorbell, you know my routine. I do not answer the door.
Duck and cover.
You have to announce yourself before I answer the door.
Why are you shaking me off? Huh?
I want to bring the heater to announce my presence with authority.
To announce your what?
Anyway, you're right. We did take 20 minutes to enter the show. That's great.
See?
In the old days, we'd be done.
I know.
Oh, so say anything. Did you guys like it? Yeah, I liked it. Okay, show's over.
Me and my pandering.
Who's in that movie? I don't really remember.
Doesn't matter.
Either. We'll look it up later. Google it, Steve, and show.
Not too far from the truth. Anyway, let's get started. Here's my first song. This one's from Paul McCartney.
No more lonely night, never be another. No more lonely night. You're my guiding light, day or night. I'm always there, and I won't go away until you tell me so. No, I'll never go away.
I can describe why I love this song in 2 words.
What are those words?
David Gilmour.
Ah, the guitar solo.
Oh my goodness. I love David Gilmour. Got the pleasure to see him in 2016 on his last tour. It was everything I wanted it to be.
Now I feel like if I mock this song, I'm just an asshole.
I was going to be that guy, so why don't you take over?
No, when I think of the 2 words that makes me love the song, it's Paul whistles. If you watch the long version of the video, it starts off with McCartney pouring a cup of tea and whistling,
Sticking a film in the projector. And...
Yeah.
Threading the old Geneva mechanism.
That'd be a great name for a prog band. So
Geneva Mechanism?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good band name. Stop the show. I'm going to add it to my list.
And show. So anyway, here's the interesting part about this. This is not a 1985 song. This is a 1984 song. It was released in September, but it did its majority of the big charting right around the holidays, December, January. So we're going to grandfather it in.
Because we can.
Plus, I don't think we talked about it in the 1984 show, which we did a year ago, and maybe we did. I just don't remember, and it doesn't matter because you're not going to go back and listen to it. And plus, now we have bass note here to say Dave Gilmour.
That's true.
This is the final song that Paul McCartney recorded for the soundtrack for Give My Regards to Broad Street. Has anyone seen that movie besides me?
Yes, and it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's about a fictional day in the life of Paul McCartney, and he obviously stars in it. Ringo Starr, Linda McCartney, George Martin all play themselves, and the plot revolves around a missing set of recording tapes. And that's really, really all we need to say about it.
Sounds like an episode of a sitcom.
It kind of was in a way.
I mean, you've not given me any reason that when we've talked about it to ever even try and look for it. So no, I've never
It's
seen
really
it.
just a
I've heard of
long
it.
music video.
It is a long music video.
I mean, that's kind of like Beatles movies, right? So
There are worse ways.
It's worked before.
I would rather watch Give My Regards to Broad Street than watch The Goonies again. Let's put it that way.
Now you're going to get the hate mail. Like, do you want me to tie you to the railroad tracks? Or you're just going to lie there?
I'll just lie there. You know me, the king of minimal effort.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sure the train won't hurt too much.
I don't feel anything anymore anyway.
The Cyndi Lauper engine.
It's a weird soundtrack. Let's talk about it just as a soundtrack. It's mainly remakes of songs that he did with the Beatles and with Wings, and
some of his solo stuff too.
Some of his solo stuff. It's the song itself, No More Lonely Nights, recorded live in just 3 hours. And if I remember correctly, Dave Gilmour donated his fee to charity.
Yep.
The idea was Paul McCartney was tasked with writing a theme song for the movie, but he couldn't make the title "Give My Regards to Broad Street" work. Maybe he should have thought of that.
He'd already used Spies Like Us, so he couldn't do that again. Or maybe that was later.
Yeah, Spies Like Us. Actually,
that was later. But anyway, so he gave up on the idea. He wrote the song and said, there are bits and pieces of this song scattered throughout the movie, kind of like plane wreckage, if you want to continue the...
Ouch.
The song obviously was a hit. I think it may have barely cracked the top 10. The movie was a flop. I think it has a 21% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And the video itself is completely forgettable. It's just a montage of Paul singing along with clips from the movie. So now that we've really sold it,
I'm going to say, boy, we're really starting out strong.
There's something about this song. I can play this song on...
What is it that appeals to you about this
song? I can play this song nonstop all day during a work day for some reason. It just works. And for some reason, that stupid whistling gets stuck in my head. And I remember for the longest time when I moved to Orlando and I had an office to myself, and the hallways around me were mainly empty, I would walk the hallways whistling that tune just because it sounded good with the acoustics of the hallway. But I literally would probably listen to that song every work day for a couple of years. It just buried itself in there, and I really loved it.
For me, it's the guitar solo. It's just I just live for that guitar solo at the end of the song. There's a point at the end of the song where you can hear a key change.
Yeah.
And then Gilmour comes in with these dissonant chords that he plays, and it's just so good.
I agree that it's good. It's just so out of place. And it never comes back from that.
I mean, this wasn't the last time that Gilmour actually worked with McCartney. He's on at least one song on the Flowers in the Dirt album.
Yeah.
And then when he did the Run Devil Run album, which is a bunch of old recordings from the 50s, Gilmour was his lead guitarist in the band.
Oh, nice. It's still a great song. It's a great song from a bad movie.
Yeah.
And we've done entire podcasts about great songs from bad movies. So hey, Snow, why don't you go next? What's your forgotten hit from 1985?
First one I'm going to go with is a good rocker from Night Ranger, 4 in the Morning. Hey, this song spent 13 weeks on the charts, peaked at number 19 in October. And if you go back to Stuck in the 80s, episode 112, the interview with Jack Blades, he actually talks about writing this song. That he just woke up at 4 in the morning one day and literally had the chorus in his head and just sat down and wrote the song. In the interview, he said he was most proud of the fact that 4 in the morning was not the chorus.
It's right. It's the first. It's the first words of the song. Yeah. I remember interviewing Jack. I don't remember him telling that story. That's crazy.
Good thing you recorded it.
I just listened to it again yesterday.
Nice thing about Night Ranger is when they do live shows, they still play all their hits. And I looked at their set list. You can go to setlists.fm and look up your set list from any of your favorite bands. And Night Ranger's already been performing a lot live this year. And including once, I think they played, or was it last year? They played at Sturgis, the motorcycle thing.
Gosh.
And of course, that was just like a
the super spreader event.
Super spreader event. I said something about that on social media and everyone jumped on me, but so I won't say anything about it again. But 4 a.m, I think, is usually the second song on their set list.
I have a strong memory of this song. A group of friends were all gathered at somebody's house, just hanging out. Somebody had made a mixtape. I think it might have been me. And this song was on it. And of course, my wife, I told her that story and she's like, of course it was you. So,
there's always one guy in the group that brings the mixtape.
I was the mixtape guy. So the mixtape is playing and it's like, we're all, big group of us having all sorts of separate conversations. And then all of a sudden this song came on and somebody goes, oh, crank it up. And then suddenly all of us are just singing this song at the top of our lung, along with the whole song. It's just such a fond memory that I have of that.
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. It's got a weird video though, doesn't it?
Yeah. The video is pretty goofy. It's I think it's actually a continuation of the Sentimental Street video.
Yeah.
Where the airplane crashes or whatever, and they're like stuck in the desert. And one of them has a genie lamp and tosses it to another guy and he rubs it and he just throws it in the air. And suddenly it becomes a spaceship and they're all freaking out and the spaceship crashes and these 3 hot looking alien women pop out and it's like, come here, boys. And they all follow. And then in a big puff of smoke, they're suddenly in this alien arena where a cleaned up version of Night Ranger is on stage performing the song and they're watching themselves.
So meta.
So great. It's just, the 80s. Yep. This is why we love the 80s. These absolutely ridiculous music videos are getting made. I'm adding this to my list of videos based in bad spaceships.
Yes.
Or
I've only got a couple.
You could add it to a list of music videos set in the desert because you would have this. You'd have the Tom Petty.
It's a lot.
You Got Lucky.
Yeah.
And let's see what else.
Yeah.
Queen of the Broken Hearts by Loverboy. There's 3.
There's a lot of overlap between videos and bad spaceships and videos with female extraterrestrials. There's a lot of overlap there.
I feel that we have 2 coffee table books in the works now.
I think they might be coffee table pamphlets, but maybe we could get some. We'll plump it up with some photos.
Yeah. There's more stories of bass notes singing at a campfire in the summer.
God, I love that.
Brad, we've got 3 songs each. What's your first song from 1985?
Okay. My first song is There Must Be an Angel by Eurythmics.
I must be hallucinating, watching angels celebrating. Could this be reactivating all my senses, dislocating? This must be a strange deception by celestial intervention, leaving me the recollection of your heavenly connection.
Not the Eurythmics. Don't ask me why. This is the second single from their 4th studio album, Be Yourself Tonight. And for this album, they took a little bit different direction. If you're familiar with the first couple albums, the first couple commercially viable albums, I should say, that anybody had a chance to get their hands on, they were a lot more experimental, a lot more electronic. But this album is a lot more kind of straight ahead pop rock, kind of like radio play music, if you will. Annie Lennox stepped back from her super androgynous look and became a bleach blonde rock and roller. Okay. This song is the duo's only UK number 1. It peaked out at number 22 on the US charts. There are plenty of Eurythmic songs that are built on that tension between Dave Stewart and Annie Lennox, their former relationship and their ongoing musical relationship. But this one is not one of those songs. Annie Lennox is just so completely unironic in her singing about just the joy of being in love, which is how I picture Steve wakes up every morning now.
That's nice that you think that way. What you're missing is that I'm a sweaty ball chained to a CPAP machine. Future wife once took a photo of me sleeping where I had the mask on. I was like, don't ever do that again. I look like I'm,
Bring me the phone. I'm deleting that picture.
Look like you're on life support.
It looks like you're on life support. Anyone else here use a CPAP machine? No. Great. It's just me.
Not.
Wonderful.
I know people.
Moment of seriousness. If you do have a snoring problem, by all means, go get a sleep study. It took me, I snored for like decades before someone finally was like, I'm holding a gun to your head. Go get a sleep study. And it's the easiest thing in the world. And it comes back and like, oh, you just need a CPAP machine. And now I sleep. I don't snore a bit. So
nice.
No big deal. It just looks awful at night. It looks, like Mark says, like I'm on life support. So on that cheerful note.
You know what isn't on life support? Eurythmics.
The Seggies.
Eurythmics are not on life support. Yeah. So this song, I don't know if you guys have listened to this recently, but it features a harmonica solo about 2/3 of the way through it. Do you know who plays that harmonica solo?
Pick me.
Dave Gilmour.
No.
2 words. Bass note, what do you got?
Stevie Wonder.
That's right. It is Stevie Wonder. In the video, it's a little kid who's just like holding it and pushing it back and forth across his mouth like he's eating a corn on the cob. It's pretty funny. But the actual solo is played by...
you want to say it?
Mr. Wonder himself, Stevie Wonder.
You wanted to say Dave Gilmour. I know you did.
I thought about it. So Lennox and Stewart went to LA to record this with him, but he kind of works on his own schedule. And so they ended up waiting around the studio for him. They weren't sure if he was going to show up and what was going to happen. Finally, he arrives and he played the solo. And Annie Lennox said later in an interview, the man is a supreme musician worth waiting for.
That's very kind.
Yeah. But let's talk about the video, Steve. Oh, man, the video's in 1985. I don't know if I can top female extraterrestrials, but this is pretty strong.
UFO? It's better. Extraterrestrial? It's better. All right, just get it and come on outside. Female extraterrestrial?
In this particular installation, Dave Stewart appears as King Louis the 14th of France, surrounded by his court. Annie Lennox is a singer who's there to entertain the king, and the look on her face is absolutely beatific. I'm so excited I get to use that word. This is why I said she was singing so unironically. She just has this earnest facial expression. She just looks so joyful. There's no other word for it. There's not you keep kind of waiting for that little ironic, like, little wink or some little smug smirk or something, and it just never arrives. She plays it straight to the lyrics the whole way through. The rest of the kind of quote entertainment that's going on stage is pretty fun. I don't know. It's pretty weird. There's a guy dressed as a unicorn, several fluted columns, children in togas, a singer with angel wings belting out the counterpoint like an angel, I guess, a gospel choir, hunting dogs, and an awful lot of fog machines. I guess that's just how they do it in Versailles. And at the end of the video, to show his appreciation, King Stewart releases a box of white doves and showers Annie Lennox in gold coins from a chest that someone carries for him. It's great. You need to take a look at this. It's fun.
I watched it just before the show. I know that if you're going to talk about a song, you're going to talk about the video. So
if there's something notable, I think it's worth mentioning. There was one song that I didn't choose that I really wanted to pick just for the video, but I couldn't do it.
My next song has no video worth talking about whatsoever. This is
so you're 2 for 2 there.
This is "Crazy in the Night" by Kim Carnes.
There's a monster on my ceiling, there's a monster on the wall. There are thousands in the closet, now they're coming down the hall. I'm so hidden they can't find me, but then again they might. What can I do to keep from going crazy in the night? Sometimes she really thinks she's going crazy in the night. But she hides down in the covers and she won't turn on the light. She says nothing's gonna get to her, but then again it might. What can she do to keep from going crazy in the night?
Who remembers this song? This one is truly more of a forgotten hit.
Yeah,
I did not remember this song at all.
It's the lead single from her ninth studio album.
Nine? Wow.
Time.
9 times. I don't remember 9 albums.
Probably because she didn't release them. It reached number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. It was her last, or remains so far her last top 40 entry to date. There's always a chance she could make a comeback. She's still out there. She's still, she's not retired. It features some really interesting lyrics that I'd like to read to you in a dramatic form. There's a monster on my ceiling. There's a monster on the wall. There are thousands in the closet. Now they're coming down the hall. I'm so hidden they can't find me. But then again, they might. What can I do to keep them going crazy in the night? Oh, now that being
Cool, Daddy-O.
That being said, it's a catchy tune. It's completely made me rethink the career of Kim Carnes. I didn't realize she got started in the 70s, like the early 70s. She was pinning songs for the Sugar Bears and David Cassidy.
The Sugar Bears. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah. She had her first solo album in 72.
Okay.
Her first big hit was You're a Part of Me in 75. Of course, we all remember Betty Davis Eyes in 1981.
Sure.
So she continues to record and write these days. But like I said, the video is just, there's no reason to watch it other than, unless you really like the soft focus performance videos that the 80s are so scoffed at for, then by all means, look it up on YouTube.
I'm just surprised the song reached as high as it did. Number 15. Wow.
It's, probably
got some A&R muscle behind it.
It must have had a little, muscle is the word. Probably another M word behind it.
The green muscle, the green muscle with the dead president's pictures on it.
Because it really feels out of place in 85.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this had come out like in 81 or 2.
Yeah, there's all kinds of madness going on in the early part of the decade.
Yeah, there's more room for something like this. Anyway, Bass Note, what do you have next?
My next one is Fortress Around Your Heart by Sting. This was, I believe, the third single off his Dream of the Blue Turtles album. Peaked at number 8 and wound up at number 95 on the year-end Hot 100. The song was inspired by Sting's divorce from his first wife, Frances Tomelty. Phil Collins is not the only one who can write a good song about divorce.
I was going to say, that's probably something he did as a favor.
It's a ripe topic.
In a musician magazine, Sting was quoted as saying, "Fortress is about appeasement, about trying to bridge the gap between individuals. The central image is a minefield that you've laid around the other person to try and protect them. Then you realize that you have to walk back through it. I think it is one of the best choruses I've ever written."
Wow.
I do like the symbolism of this
song.
I
love the symbolism of this song.
I would have thought this had charted higher just because I like this song a lot better than Free Free Set Them Free,
Yeah,
which I think was the lead single.
Love is the Seventh Wave. I think this is a much, much better song.
Yeah.
I like Love is the Seventh Wave, but Love in the Seventh Wave is no Fortress Around Your Heart.
Sting is something, we talked about this album, I think, in the early days of Stuck in the 80s. This is the concert I went to with the infamous Bags of Rum that exploded in my pants.
Yes. I was going to say, was this giving you visions of exploding bags of rum?
That was a weird night. Go back and just search for Police or Sting. It's one of the first
Bags of Rum
50 episodes. It was one of the stories that people ask me to retell a lot. It's been so long since I told it the last time that I don't remember it as well anymore.
You should just make something up about getting arrested and ending spending the night in jail.
I remember meeting Jen with one N for the first time on the first 80s cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me to retell the Bags of Rum story. And I started doing it. She's like, "You're doing such an awful job. Let me just finish it for you."
I love Jen.
Jen, come on. Be nice before you're right.
In all fairness, yeah, she did a much better job.
Oh, okay. When you talk about this song, I immediately go to the documentary. I don't know if you guys remember Bring on the Night.
Sure.
Yes.
The documentary that was shot during the making and preparation for I guess it probably wasn't during the making of the album, but it was during the preparation
tour
for
the album.
Yeah. I just watched it a couple weeks ago again, and it's kind of cute how earnest everybody is. And, I think Sting makes the point, you don't see a lot of documentaries about bands that are getting started. Daryl Jones, who's the bass player on that, very presciently says, "I'm not sure that this is exactly a band and that everybody has an equal say in what goes on around here," which I find the funniest line in the whole movie.
It's true.
So I actually have a story about from that movie. Michael Apted, the director, wanted to create a Spinal Tap moment So at a concert in Paris, he had a 2-foot fortress with a heart that was wrapped in tinfoil, commissioned and lowered down onto the stage during the performance of this song. Sting admitted to being taken aback by it, but did not show it outwardly and just kept playing to the audience. Apted was actually very disappointed. He wanted to get a big reaction from Sting and put it in the film, but he decided, since Sting did not have a good reaction, that the footage was deemed unusable for the film.
That's a pity, because that would have been really funny.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's great.
I mean, I can see Sting just from the way he is in the rest of that movie, like when the band is kind of teasing him about an article that's in the tabloid press. He's kind of like, yeah, okay, we're done here. Can we move on? While they're singing, the Jeffersons theme song, which is, it's very funny.
I think Sting has lightened up in his later years, because
I hope so.
I saw him about a year, I think it's 2019, touring with Peter Gabriel, and
my son went.
He and Peter Gabriel were having a ball on stage. They looked like they were just enjoying every second of it.
Nice.
Brad, what's your next song on the list?
Oh, do I have any more? I feel like I'm all talked out here. Okay, here we go. My next song is All You Zombies by the Hooters.
All you zombies, hide your faces. All you people in the street. All you sitting in high places. The rain's gonna fall on you.
I don't think I've heard this on the radio in 20 years.
Oh, easily, yeah.
I got a little multiple choice question for you guys. All You Zombies is A, a live single released in 1982, B, the fourth track on the Hooters' 1983 album Amore, C, the first single from their 1985 album Nervous Night, D, none of the above, E, all of the above.
I'm going to go with D, none of the above.
Bass note?
Yeah, I'll go with Steve, D.
It's all of the above. They wrote this song in 1981. They released it as a live single. They recorded another version for their first studio album, which was independently released. And then their first major label album, they reused it yet again, which actually they did that. I think there are 3 or 4 songs that are on Amore that show up on Nervous Night. The song was written by band founders Eric Bazillion, which is how many dollars he wished he would make from this, and Rob Hyman. I'm sure he's never heard that joke. They cranked out this reggae-influenced track like overnight. All the interviews where they talk about it, they both express surprise at how quickly they cranked it out. The song is filled with biblical images, which caused some controversy. It actually got banned from some radio stations, which I'm kind of trying to figure that one out. But Hyman said in an interview with Song Facts, quote, "To this day, it probably is the song that people ask us about the most. They want to know what it's about. They want to know the intent and the meaning. And it just kind of happened. We didn't think about it. It wasn't discussed. It wasn't premeditated. It just came out of us. The lyrics are very intriguing. Some songs are just like that. You never quite know what they're about. And if it's put together in the right way, they can be wonderful experiences. I love songs like that. You just listen, and every time you hear it, you kind of wonder what's going on."
What? Of course it's the song they're most asked about. I mean, it's not like everyone's going, tell us the deep meaning behind "And We Danced."
Fair.
Okay, I'm being unnecessarily curlish here.
You're playing the part of Brad in L.A. today.
I don't know why.
No, it's a good point. Lyrically, it's like, why are we talking about Moses, and what's the deal with Noah? And I can't think of a song that I've heard on pop radio that includes the word Israelites.
Yeah.
Except this.
Yeah, fair point.
So the band liked the song, but they thought it was too quirky to be a hit. The U.S. chart seemed to agree with them. It peaked at 58, although it did get to number 8 in Australia. They do like their biblical references there, apparently. I found this interesting. I found out in my research that Bazillion and Hyman also worked with Cyndi Lauper on her debut album. They did some arranging, and they both played on it. So I thought that was kind of cool. That contact helped get them their deal with Columbia Records.
Yeah. Can I clarify my comments about the Hooters? I like the Hooters.
No.
They come down here, I think, every year, and they play at Epcot Center during Food and Wine Festival. I've never had a chance to see them because it's usually like a during the week show, and Spearsy don't leave the house.
Leave the house.
You know. And,
we've spent too much time together, Steve.
So
we're finishing each other's sandwiches.
I really enjoy the Hooters. I hope they come on the cruise someday. I hope they play.
Oh, they'd be great.
I hope they play a weekend sometime in Orlando so I can get out of the house. But I didn't mean any disrespect over it, and we danced. If that song came on now, I would get up and do the rumba to it. Or
would you dance?
I would dance.
Like a wave on the ocean? Would there be romance?
Probably.
Like Liars in Love?
If I'm doing dancing, there better be some romance in. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, their debut album is a good album. It's a really good album.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's solid.
They're from Philly, right? They're from Philly?
They are from
Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah. Which is why they ended up on the bill for Live Aid, largely in Philadelphia. They played, they were one of the early acts. It might have been the second act on stage.
Wow.
And the performance is not on the official DVD releases, but you can find it on YouTube. There are enough, like people have taken various sources and cut things together from home video and MTV footage and stuff. It's great. Apparently Bob Geldof didn't think they were big enough for his little fundraiser thing, saying a couple days before the event, "Who the f*** are the Hooters?" To which I would say, Bob, who the f*** are the Coldstream Guards? I don't hear a single.
There's Brad. He's back.
Okay. I know I just pissed off every British listener who has great respect for the British military, and I know the Coldstream Guards and their history, but rock and roll show? Anyway, let's talk about the video. It's not really that exciting. It's your basic, let's play a rock song in a somewhat sinister industrial building while a military guy smokes a cigar and random people open and close valves. Then when the song ends, we'll wrap it up with the shot of the military guy getting suspended by his feet, still smoking a cigar. Okay. I mean, it's not terrible, but don't go looking for any information on what the song's actually about.
God. I started watching the video right before the show, and I didn't get too far into it, and now I'm sort of regretting it. Now I do kind of want to look it up.
You got all afternoon, my friend.
God, I do. It's the weekend.
It's not 4 a.m.
Just me and the chili dogs.
Without a warning.
I have one more song. We each have one more song. This one,
because we like you. We like you, listeners. We want to talk to you all day long.
Steve's going to tell you
party every night.
I'll tell you one ridiculously stupid, irrelevant story with every song. Ooh. At least this one we can celebrate the video for it. This is Misled by Kool and the Gang. Okay, show of hands because we can actually see each other on video. Who remembers this song? Wow, okay.
I actually picked up the CD the other day at a used CD store.
Oh my God.
Ooh, nice. I mean, Steve, you got to remember, my wife almost left me for Kool and the Gang, so it behooves me to be familiar with their catalog.
Okay, so here again, we have another 1984 song, but it didn't chart until March of 1985. It was from their album Emergency. Anyone want to guess how many albums came before Emergency? Kool and the Gang.
It's a big number.
Saying double digits.
Say 12.
No, this is their 16th album.
Good grief.
And
these guys were cranking them out.
If you bought it, you probably bought it for songs like Cherish or Fresh. I did check the set list for Kool and the Gang. They do not play this song live anymore.
I was misled.
It's got my favorite line of any song this week. She's as heavy as a Chevy.
Yeah, how'd you get away with that, Kool and the Gang?
I don't know. Anyway, what's kind of interesting, though, is that this sounds less like Kool and the Gang and more like Rick James.
Yeah, there's not as much horn line stuff in it.
More guitar.
Heavy on the guitar, yeah.
Yeah, it's
maybe that's why they don't play it, because, my boy Jerome, the trombone player, nixed it because he wanted something to do.
Yeah, they've got I think there's 10 members of Kool and the Gang. They've been around since 1964.
It's a big lineup.
Yeah. Robert Kool Bell was one of the founders. He's the only one still with the band. His brother Ronald died in September. The video, okay. It's better if you just go on YouTube, put the podcast on pause and check it out. But assuming you're not going to do that, here's what to expect. Creepy guys in robes, some like a dancer who's ghostly white, literally acting out the lyrics, and an amazing blue jacket for the lead singer. But but overall, it's kind of up there with Billy Ocean and Loverboy as far as needlessly weird.
Yeah, it's like somebody's college film project.
Yes.
I have no idea what's going on here. Is the woman supposed to be a banshee, luring him away? I don't really know.
Can we do this as a group?
What's the deal with the car?
Can we do this as a group costume for the cruise next year? That's all I'm asking.
If you can get that jacket, you could build an empire around
nobody
that
wants to
jacket.
see me wearing that jacket.
Oh, I beg to differ.
They don't make it in my size.
It's going to have to be a custom anyway. So.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Bespoke 80s jackets.com.
I would go dressed as one of the creepy guys in the robes, though, in the mask that has sort of a eyes wide shut kind of thing.
That's going to go with Andre the Giant as the Dread Pirate Roberts.
I bought that costume. I have it somewhere around here.
Nice.
It was a backup one of these years. But
do you have some big foam boulders you could throw at people?
Yeah, I got some big foam boulders.
I don't have to miss. I don't even exercise.
Okay, Bass Note, save me with your third and final pick.
Okay, well, she got mentioned a little earlier. This is All Through the Night by Cyndi Lauper.
All through the night, stray cat is crying, so stray cat sings back. All through the night, they have forgotten what binding they lack. Oh, under those white street lamps, there is a little chance that may see.
This was, I believe, her fourth single off of the She's So Unusual album, and it peaked at number 5 in December of 1985, ended up at number 65 on the year-end chart. This song is actually a cover.
Oh, wow. So we get to talk about it again someday soon.
It's
Cyndi.
It's originally done by Jules Shear on his 1983 album Watchdog.
Jules Shear.
So it's not even like an old song.
And Shear actually provides backing vocals for the song.
Oh, nice. Well, there you go.
And he also said that her version of the song is his favorite cover.
I'm just picturing him in the session, like yelling at her, "You're doing it wrong. That's not how you sing it."
I downloaded and listened to his version of the song not too long ago, and his version is almost like a country version of the song.
Oh, really?
I see that.
Huh.
Now, Wikipedia said that there was no video for this song, but I distinctly remember an exclusive live video that was on MTV. And it was actually this video that made me become a Cyndi Lauper fan, because this song live showed off her vocal range so well.
Didn't she do like a live concert for MTV and they cut a couple videos from that?
It might have been.
Wouldn't surprise me.
That was very MTV at that time.
Yeah. An exclusive concert with up and coming.
I mean, Journey had theirs in 1981. The show at Houston Summit was, and they did a Asia in Asia concert. I remember that. Stay up till 2 a.m. to watch that.
I remember a concert by The Cult for their love album that made me run out and buy that album the next day, because it's like I saw that concert. I'm like, damn, this is good. it's like,
yeah.
The
gosh, I haven't heard that album in a long time.
Such a good album.
The final Who concert in their first farewell tour, circa 1982, was on HBO, and I remember I couldn't name 3 Who songs at that time, and I watched that concert.
Play Teenage Wasteland. Shut up, noob.
But yeah, I watched that, and I became a lifelong Who fan after that. So it's amazing what a live concert film will do for you.
Yeah, it's like the end of the song when she goes into the ooze. Actually, the live version is on subsequent releases of the CD. I do have a CD that actually has the live version of this song on it. When she does the ooze at the end, there's a couple of them where she just gets really high up in her range. And I was like, damn, she's got a good range.
Say what you will about Cyndi Lauper. She's got a voice.
She can sing. She can sing.
Yeah, 100%.
Total respect. Brad, you've got one last pick.
I'm going to bring this one in quick. I don't have a whole lot to say about this because I wasn't sure if we are going to do 3 songs each, but take a quick listen to this by Don Henley.
See a lot more meanness in the city.
dignity. Hard to get home with any pride. These days a man makes you something, and you never see his face. But there is no hiding place. Down at the
Sunset Grill.
Yes. Look, here's the thing. If you hear a Don Henley song on the radio,
it's
Boys of Summer. It's Boys of Summer. And if by some reason they're doing like the 2 for weekend playlist, and so they do 2 by each artist, the other one's Dirty Laundry.
Or all she wants to do is dance.
Oh, yeah.
Or all she wants to do is dance. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good point.
You just don't hear it anymore. So I thought that fit the forgotten theme. Sunset Grill is an actual place on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. Apparently Don Henley used to like to go there and watch people, and it was a place he could do that and not be recognized. It's just off the beaten path enough, although it is on Sunset Boulevard. The family that owned the restaurant when the song was released sold it in 1997, and it was torn down and rebuilt and reopened. So there is still a Sunset Grill, but it's not the same. It's like that thing about, is it still the same boat if you've replaced every plank and every nail in it?
Yeah.
Is it still the same? I don't know. But I've never been there. Sounds kind of touristy. On the plus side, they do serve breakfast all day, which I'm a big fan of.
Well, so does IHOP. Let's
Well,
go
yeah.
down to the IHOP grill.
Rudy Tooty, fresh and fruity. Make it snappy. I really like the groove of this song. It just is fun to listen to, but it does have this no actual instruments were harmed in the making of this song sound to it. It is so synthy. The drums is all drum kit or electronic drum, and there's some guitar in there somewhere kind of floating along.
I actually looked this up on the liner notes. It's actually a guitar synthesizer. It's the horn solo is played on a guitar synthesizer by Gady Korchmar.
I love it. I love it. And it's what it feels like. And that's definitely of its time too, to a certain extent. I just think this is a forgotten Don Henley track that I remember fondly.
I think it's probably my favorite song on Building the Perfect Beast.
It answers a great question for many of us who live in Los Angeles, who occasionally, like, why am I here? The answer is all our friends are here.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Let's go sit in a dark room and ponder that for a while.
Well, before you do that, Steve, I think we should get to
the Seggies.
What's happening, hot stuff?
By the sound of the gong, it must be time for Mystery Movie Moment. We'll play a snippet of a movie from the 80s if you get it right. Right? If you get it right? Why does that sound wrong? I don't know. I'm telling you, fatigue.
Don't overthink it.
Fatigue is...
Don't think.
Stay on target.
Just throw. Can only hurt the club.
The postal-friendly bottle opener awaits you. We haven't sent one out in a while, have we? But we haven't had too many Seggies in a while.
There is that.
Well, we've been gone a lot. There'll be more traveling.
It's true.
Anyway, I don't know why I'm getting off topic, except for that's just what I do.
It's shocking.
Cast your mind back, my friends, to episode 599. And remember this cute little movie clip.
This is how we say goodbye in Germany.
Yep, that's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Do you guys ever do this deal when you, like, I work at home. Brad, you work from home, right? No. Based on, do you work from home or do you go to the office?
No, I work at a fitness center.
Okay, so what I do to kind of stay alert is play a movie that I've seen 1,000 times on one of the other computer monitors. And the week that we did that episode 599, I was watching Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade over and over and over again.
What I like about that movie now when I watch it is the interplay between father and son.
Oh yeah, Connery is so good.
That's really fun to me.
Yeah. No, when I used to work in the office, there was another guy who really loved all these movies. And every once in a while we would just throw each other a line in the middle of a meeting, and just to really, because we would think it was hilarious and nobody else would get it. And my favorite,
that's for blasphemy.
No, I would throw something on the floor or something and I'd go, "No ticket."
I like the Austrian way better.
Yeah. So somewhere along the line, Brad's going to have to interrupt me and read some names.
Oh, Steve, shut up so I can read these names. Oh, that actually worked. Amazing. Winners this week include Joseph Perdue, Alejandro Stix Cardoso Solis from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico, who did that because I complained about the long nicknames a few weeks ago. Thanks. We're just going to call you Stix from now on, Chuckles. Dean Carter from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Apparently he's in on it too. Brock in North Dakota, John in LA Center, Kentucky, Ken Mooch Milligan, Bart Kopp from West Des Moines, Iowa, Colin Hall, Ralph in Clearwater, Todd in Minnesota, Gene in Hollister, Chip Jamerson, Jeremy in St. Pete, Florida, Darren in Ukaipa, Bo Forney, Cliff from London, DJ Elliott, Chip in Maryland, Dallas in St. Joseph, Mike from Pasadena, Jesse El Gato Grande Smith, and Tom Korn, who liked the Austrian way so much better, he up and moved there.
Yep.
Nice.
I don't know if we ever got the full story from Tom about why he's in Austria. It seems like maybe he did tell us years ago.
Oh.
Maybe it's time for a refresher course.
It's so simple. It's all Austrian way nowadays.
Congratulations, by the way, to Jesse El Gato Grande Smith. I think he just became a realtor.
Nice.
So
in this market,
congrats.
Go get him. Go get him.
Yeah. In the meantime, pay attention. Here's this week's mystery movie clip.
Who's buying the booze?
If you know it, email us at podcast@sitds.com and tune in soon to find out if you're a winner. The mystical refrain that is name that 80s tune. We will play a snippet. Why is it always a snippet? Can it be something else? Brad's mocking me. I didn't even notice that. Now I'm looking at the damn video. No more video podcasts. I'm already feeling very insecure about my place, and it's very clear that Bass Note prefers you as a host to me, and so now you've done wrecked the rest of my security.
Oh, come on, Eeyore, just do the bit.
Come on, Steve, you are the rock that makes this podcast.
I'm the roughage.
The rock.
Yeah,
you are the
I would
rock.
accepted roughage.
You are the rock upon which the church is stuck in the 80s is built, Peter.
Yes,
I'm the coleslaw.
I like coleslaw.
I like coleslaw too.
What are we doing?
Why did we start this?
I've lost my way. Who are you guys?
We'll play a piece of a song from the 80s if you get it right. Again, glory awaits you in the form of a 1x2 piece of metal, inscribed upon which is the glorious logo of our motherland.
Did I tell you when I was back visiting my son, we'd got some beers, as you do, and I realized that my pocket knife, which has a bottle opener on it, was back at the hotel. And so I'm like, oh, I need a bottle opener. He whips out his wallet and pulls out a stuck in the 80s postal-friendly bottle opener.
Which he rightfully did not win. What the hell?
That I had given him out of the largesse and grace of my parental love. I'm like, you carry that around with you? He's like, yeah, of course. It's really handy. I'm like, all right.
That's
All
nice.
right, flashing the brand. All right.
Yeah. Now I gave him some stickers to put on the telephone poles.
Nice. Pay attention. Back from episode 599. The glory. I don't even remember what 599 was about. Do you?
I think it was a Close But No Cigar show.
Or was it Square Pegs? No, Square Pegs was 600.
Square Pegs was so long. I don't think we did Seggies on that one.
600 was the dance episode.
No, that was
601.
Really?
Yeah.
Trust me.
Wow.
Everyone at home is screaming, get on with it.
I know 598 was the last one I was on. So
okay. Oh, yeah, that was the deep dive on Rush Moving Pictures. Yep. Okay. Anyway, where were we? 599. You were paying attention. This was the song you probably heard. That's Notorious by Duran Duran. Nice.
Where are all our Duranis? I thought we'd have more correct answers on this. I mean, I love you, all of you that wrote in. I love you all, but I just thought you'd be in part of a larger ensemble.
That makes me want to know what 599 was even more now, because was it a bad episode that nobody listened to? Okay, I'm going to look.
Is that the show we had Chuck Coverly on? Because you know what a lead balloon that guy is.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, actually, we had good downloads for that one. I remember that. That is
a good show.
One.
It's a good show.
That's a good show. Okay, well, go figure.
Chuck could probably tell us a lot more about the Hooters being from the Philadelphia area.
I'll tell you a little bit more about Duran Duran the next episode because we'll have a special guest.
Ooh.
Anyway, Brad, read some names.
Winners this week include Crispy Critter, Joseph Perdue, Alejandro Stix, Cardoso Solis from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico, the Northern Hemisphere, the planet Earth, John Ross from Charlotte, North Carolina, Lito from Austin, Michael Legat, Terry in Perth, Becky the Rocker Pixie, and Brett Lawson.
Let's spin a wheel, find out who's going to take home Metallic Glory. That sounds like the name of a very bad band.
I wouldn't go see them.
No,
Geneva Mechanism, yes.
Yeah. Is that really what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Okay. Base note, your turn to spin the wheel.
Okay.
There we go.
Ooh, I think I pulled something.
Strong. You better hit the fitness center.
Looks like it's going to land on Ken Mooch Milligan. You're this week's winner. So email us your postal address and sometime with the agreed upon set coordinates.
We'll get that baby in the mail to you.
Some fun will arrive. Yeah. Steve's at a loss for words at the end of the show every single time. In the meantime, pay attention. Here's the clip for this week's show. If you know it, email us at podcast@sit80s.com. And
tune in next time to find out if you are a wiener.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Music so alive, it's a concert in your car. Sparkomatic, in-concert performance in car sound.
And we're back. We have just a few seconds left. First of all, I want to thank Bass Note for coming back on the show and for reminding us that we haven't done this series in a year. I was almost embarrassed when you told us that.
Sleeping in a podcast cocoon on our front yard.
1985 was a fun year for music. It is kind of weird though, some of these songs. I mean, it just wasn't what I was listening to then. I was, what was I listening to? Hoodoo Gurus, Duran Duran, REM.
Yeah, I was starting to get into more alternative stuff. Like I said, the Cult. That's the 85 was the year I actually discovered The Cure.
Okay,
and
nice.
So, Head on the Door. Love that album.
I was not listening to Kool and the Gang and Kim Carnes.
No, Kim. Somebody said name the Kim Carnes single that went to number 15 in 1985. I would die before I got the answer correct.
That's true. As we mentioned, we did finally hit the 600 episode milestone a few weeks ago. We got some really nice reader messages sent to us and some audio greetings, which we used last show. We heard from our favorite Montreal correspondent, Peter Ryan, this week, and he left us this message.
Hey, gang, it's Stuck in the 80s. It's your old friend Peter Ryan from Montreal, Quebec in Canada, wishing you all the best after 600 incredible episodes of Stuck in the 80s. It is really the highlight of my week to download a new episode. I think that the topics that you keep coming up with are just simply amazing, thought-provoking, and gotta say, I love the Saggies. Félicitations à chacune et chacun. La balado-diffusion est absolument incroyable et c'est fort apprécié ici à Montréal.
Oh, thanks, Peter.
Mon Dieu.
I'm assuming that last part in French wasn't some sort of curse or anything.
Yeah, the 2 years of high school French, I don't really remember even the swear words anymore.
I had to take it for 6 weeks.
Married. I think that's about all.
Married, yes.
Married. That's all I got. One thing I got to say before we wrap this up is last week I talked about this book, Do Stand So Close to Me, and how much I'd enjoyed it. And what I failed to mention was that I heard about this book on our frequent collaborator and occasional co-host, Gail in DC's book blog, Every Day I Write the Book. I would never have heard of this book if not for her, and I certainly appreciate her turning me on to that. I don't always read books Gail recommends, but when I do, I usually enjoy them. So thanks, Gail. Check it out if you're looking for something to read. Gail's reading like 2 books a day or something crazy like that, so have a look.
We had a lot of fun doing this week's show. If you have suggestions for Forgotten Hits from 1986, it's up next. You just have to wait a year for it to happen.
Carve them into a tablet, bury it, and we'll tell you when to dig it up.
In the meantime, Bass Note, Brad, and myself remain here, hopelessly stuck in the 80s.
Stuck in the 80s is now on Patreon. If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/stuckintheeighties podcast. Special thanks to Check Battery Daily for our theme music, and thanks for listening.
Can I tell you a weird story? So the people behind us and over a couple houses this summer have started making a lot of noise in their backyard at like 1:30 in the morning on Friday or on Saturday. I guess it's technically Saturday morning. So sure enough, Saturday morning, Motley Crue starts playing at 1:30 a.m. They play 3 songs really loud, and then it's quiet, but you can hear them talking because it's California and the weather's nice, so I sleep with the windows open. And they go until like 7 o'clock in the morning. Like I woke up this morning at 6:30, and they're still out there talking and playing music. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's not cool.
I think I have vampires living behind me.
I'm flanked on both sides by families that enjoy playing mariachi music into the wee hours of the morning.
So you're getting the vibe. I mean, look, I'm ready for you to kickstart your heart anytime you like, but I don't need to hear it at 4 a.m.
Exactly.
Without a warning.
Anyway, my neighbors are quiet here, but when I lived in St. Pete, the neighbors behind us, who I never met, I mean, because there was fences and I never met them. But every holiday, they would have sex with all the windows open in the middle of the day. So you always knew.
So you're conducting like Michael J. Fox.
Every holiday, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. You'd be outside and you hear I'm not going to make the sounds, but that's what they were with the windows open. It was like I lived there for almost 10 years, and that was